Hello, everybody. Robert Maletti here with Chicago Title, and thank you for tuning in today. We are super blessed to have Chief Willis here with Big Bear Lake Fire Department talking with us today. We got a couple things that we wanted to speak about, but thank you for your time, sir.
My pleasure.
Definitely
Good morning to
appreciate
you.
it. I know
join you.
you're a busy guy, so thank you for taking this time out.
Thank you.
The first question I think is the actual most important question that I really wanted to talk with you about is, if you guys get a call right now, do I get to come with you?
Not without the not right now. No.
He's like, no, that's not going to happen.
No. But we always do encourage active community participation and knowledge about our department. So
Gotcha.
We'd like to accommodate where
Awesome.
possible.
I didn't brief you on that question, so I was gonna get you with that one. Very good. So there's your answer to that one. I was kind of hoping for the positive on that side, but I can't go with them today. So Big Bear Lake, Big Bear City Fire Department, you guys are kind of in the beginning stages, somewhat of kind of combining them.
No, I wouldn't say we're in the beginning stages.
Okay.
We're in the final stages.
Oh,
is
good.
where we're at. We've got a couple big issues to try and to get through. That being is the final budget is a consolidated budget, and I'm very inspired by the work of the combined board or the consolidated board.
Sure.
And all the support, the great support that we have from the community.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. That's a huge part about it is having the support from the community, because nothing really seems to get done when they're not on board.
Right. Exactly right. It's not that the organization isn't without issues. Every organization's got issues, but I'm very, very confident in the final analysis when we talk about service, standards of cover, service levels, how we fund those services and what services are important. The community, I know, very much embraces the fire department.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely agree with that. That's
Right.
for sure. You've thinking back in the earliest days. When was the first time you thought about, I want to be a fireman. I want to go into this line of work. How long ago was that?
It's going to take me a minute to go through it. It really wasn't a thought. It was introduced to me, and it was in high school, my senior year. I had a very good friend at the time, and his dad was a fire captain with LA City Fire Department.
Oh, wow.
And so he was going down the career path,
Sure.
following his father's path, in the fire service. And I was on the other side in the construction business, grading, excavating, and paving. My family is in that business today.
Sure.
And I was all set to go down that path. And
Yeah.
just by a chance conversation with my friend, he said, I'm going to sign up as a volunteer with Big Bear City Fire Department. And that was the first time I was like, well, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And so we talked a little bit, and the reason why he was signing up is he wanted to get the experience. It would be good for his resume.
Sure.
Young, just starting out, and and ultimately he did end up in LA City, and I was introduced to it by him. I think what probably helped me more in the Big Bear City Fire Department as a volunteer is coming from a construction background, grading, excavating, paving.
Sure.
When I heard about the fire department, I was very much drawn to it as a problem solver, as a very young man that came with a lot of mechanical knowledge, and then the big apparatus that comes with the fire service. I already had a lot of knowledge behind me from my construction experience.
Sure.
And when I came into the fire service, it was just a real natural fit because of that.
Perfect.
And the rest is history. That was in 1984.
Wow, very good. Wow. Well, the community is definitely blessed to have you, so that's awesome. Glad you made that decision.
Yes, thank you.
One thing that I wanted to talk about, and we have these Knox boxes here. You spoke at the Big Bear Board of Realtors a few months ago about what these are, how they're serving the community, why they're a benefit to guys like you. So I don't know, do you want to talk about maybe the residential one, or maybe you can just kind of quickly touch on each one, what they're doing?
Yeah, let me start with this box right here. This is what we call this is a Knox box, and this one here is designed for commercial properties.
Sure.
Properties that we might need access after hours, properties that would be difficult for our firefighters to get into.
Yeah.
So we have certain businesses where this is a requirement.
Okay.
And the idea being is within this box is everything that we need to know about that specific property.
Okay.
And that was really the emphasis behind these other two. It started off as a commercial venue. And the last 30, 40 years, it's becoming more and more popular in the residential community.
Sure.
The first one I want to talk about, which was part of the discussion at the Board of Realtors, was this is a residential size one that we could put on your house. We could put it by a gate. It's got a single key that all the fire apparatus have. It's very, very secure. There's a whole process where I ultimately have to sign off if there's ever another key made or issued to anybody. So we track these very, very close.
Good.
And so does the company that manufactures. And the idea, well, it's getting more and more important for the residential community is we still have what I would call some, smaller houses that are, 800, 900, 1,200 square foot, somewhere in that range that are pretty easy for the fire service to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty small structure for us to deal with. And then we have a whole nother spectrum of the community where we got residential houses out there that really are the size of a commercial structure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And with those properties, there's very expensive doors that need to be considered, and there's security procedures, and it just makes it just as difficult for the firefighters to service that residential community. So this is something you can contact the fire department. Time does matter. A feature like this on your structure that would be on your residence that would be tracked by the fire department could ultimately lead into faster response times, more capability for our firefighters, and a reduction in property damage as a result. So this is a good choice for the residential property.
Yeah. Good deal. One last question that I've been saving up for you. Out of all your years of service, this is something I thought of when I was driving over here. What is the craziest 911 call that you've been on where you thought to yourself, you get there and you say, did you guys really just call 911 for this? Can you think of anything offhand? A fun, quick story?
Oh, boy.
I'm sure you have a whole bag of them.
Well, I have an awful lot. Let me answer it this way.
Sure.
I have an awful lot of fun stories regarding use of emergency services. That when we arrived there, to the person that called, it was a true emergency.
Oh, sure.
Right. So we have to respect that.
Absolutely.
It was a true emergency.
Absolutely.
We have others where we arrive there and everybody, including the person that called us, knows that it's not a true emergency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's something funny, whatever it is.
Sure.
I've had it all the way down to where I'll give you one funny one where there was a ground squirrel that got into a house.
Oh, gotcha.
Right, and this poor lady had been chasing this squirrel around the house for about an hour.
Yeah.
And this thing would bounce up and it would jump on the tables and it would knock stuff off. And it's going round and round and round in circles, just creating so much havoc. And then we get there, and I can't say that we provided excellent customer service there, because now all of a sudden we're trying to chase this thing out and shoo it out the door, and we're knocking stuff down. So the funniest part about it is another unit came up that was very much in tune with critters. That was one of his hobbies.
Yeah.
And he's looking at us going, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, what is going on here?
This is years ago. I go, we're trying to get this squirrel out of the house. He
Yeah.
says, oh, you guys just come here. And so what he did is he ended up turning the light off in the bathroom so it was a dark spot. And then he turned the trash can down on its side and it was a dark tunnel.
Oh, there you go.
And within about 2 minutes, just walking around, that squirrel went in there because it was dark, safe place to hide.
Yep.
And so he walks in there, picks up the trash can, just calmly, walks outside and dumps it out, and the squirrel goes on its way.
We're
So
done.
yeah, that's a good, simple knowledge matters,
Yes.
and I'm very thankful for him during that need, and we got a lot of stories like that with cats in the trees. The other end of the spectrum in the fire service is, why we have the lighter-hearted incidents to the moderately critical incidents to the absolute critical incidents. Those are the type that are just very, very tragic events that really take a lot to process, and when you're in the middle of it, trying to organize chaos, I have quite a few memories about, tremendous loss on a number of occasions. So thankfully, we have that end of the spectrum. You have the other end of the spectrum where it's lighthearted and a lot of funny, and the best you could hope for is a good balance in between.
Absolutely.
So,
Very true. Very true. Well, you guys do a great job of what you do. Chief Willis, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your years of service, and thank you for just running a good operation here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.